Right, I'm just going to say it. Next week in Emmerdale is pure soap chaos. We've got 2 women landing in the cells, a brutal attack that's going to leave viewers shaken, and a pregnancy reveal that's set to throw a whole family into turmoil. And that's not even all of it. If you've been watching lately, you'll know tensions have been bubbling under in almost every corner of the village. Well, buckle up, because those tensions are about to boil over in spectacular fashion. Let's go through the biggest moments coming up from Monday 11th to Friday 15th August. And trust me, you won't want to miss a single one. When Ruby and Manpreet's feud explodes, we start with Ruby and Manpreet because this one's about to get messy. And when I say messy, I mean forklift truck at the depot messy. It all kicks off after Steph makes that sudden decision to head off on a yoga retreat in Rome, trying to clear her head after finding out Ross had been lying to her. But Ruby's barely had time to process her daughter's exit when she catches Ross smooching Manpreet outside the GP's house. You can imagine how well that went down. Next thing, Ruby storms into the surgery like a woman on a mission, publicly humiliating Manpreet. And you'd think that might be the end of it. But no, Manpreet's not the type to just swallow her pride. She heads up to the depot where Ruby's working, demanding a face-to-face chat. Ruby brushes her off, which only winds Manpreet up even more, to the point where she literally hijacks a forklift and refuses to get down until Ruby talks. What starts as trading a few pointed digs turns personal, especially when Steph's name comes up. That's Ruby's weak spot, and she snaps, shoving Manpreet into a stack of boxes. The chaos only stops when the police show up, and before you know it, both women are arrested for ABH. Honestly, the image of Ruby and Manpreet spending a night in the cells together is going to be worth it alone. But whether this cools things off, or makes them worse, that's the real question. Vinny's trust turns into a nightmare elsewhere. Things take a much darker turn for Vinny. He's been quietly struggling for months now, trying to figure out who he is and where he stands with Gabby, especially after that awkward moment with Cammy earlier in the summer. Looking for advice, he ends up chatting online to a guy called Mike, who seems to understand exactly what he's going through. They meet up, talk things through, and Vinny actually starts to feel like he's found someone who gets it. But next week, Mike's mask slips in the worst possible way. Mike shows up at Daleview claiming he's been kicked out by his partner, and before Vinny can process it, the whole mood changes. Suddenly Mike's being aggressive, saying cruel things, and then, out of nowhere, attacking him. It's brutal. Vinny's on the floor, completely helpless, having flashbacks to his past with Paul. And then the real gut punch, Mike demands 10 grand to keep quiet about Vinny's sexuality, playing back secret recordings of everything they've talked about. It's vile. Just as this is happening, Gabby, who's supposed to be away on a spa trip, starts heading back to the cottage because she thinks she's forgotten her phone. And that leaves us all wondering, is she about to walk in on this horror? Or is Vinny going to be left to face it alone? 3. Belle. Ready to move on or not? Now, for something a bit lighter, at least on the surface. Belle's divorce is final, and Nicola's decided that means it's time for her to start dating again. Belle's not convinced, but Nicola takes matters into her own hands and swipes right on Cammy's dating profile. Using Belle's phone, you can see where this is going. Belle ends up having to explain to Cammy in the Woolpack that she wasn't the one who liked his profile, which makes for an awkward pint. And because nothing in this village stays quiet for long, Cain hears about it and decides he doesn't like the idea one bit. His reasoning: Cammy's already dated Sarah, and Cain's not exactly keen on him moving on to his sister, so he tells Cammy to keep his distance. Belle insists she's not interested, but Lydia points out she might be protesting a little too much. You can almost see Belle starting to question herself. Is there actually something there? Or is this just Nicola stirring the pot? This could go either way, and knowing Cain, it could blow up even if nothing happens. If you're still watching and enjoying the spoilers, do me a favor. Hit that subscribe button. It's free and it means you won't miss the next lot of drama when it all kicks off again next week. 4th April gets pulled into Ray's world. Now here's one I think a lot of viewers are going to be worried about. April's turning 16, and instead of planning a nice, safe family party, she's got other things on her mind. Dylan's back in her life, and she decides that she wants to spend her birthday with, in a very grown-up way. When Mandy catches them coming downstairs looking, well, disheveled, she doesn't waste a second telling Marlon. He's fuming, though Rona does her best to calm him down. But that's not the worst of it. Dylan's still tangled up with Ray, who's been giving him these shady jobs. And now Ray wants April to do one herself. A drug drop, no less. Dylan promises he'll cut ties with Ray afterwards, and April, against her better judgment, agrees. The thing is, Marlon's completely oblivious. He's busy trying to trust April, thinking she's just in a normal teenage romance. Meanwhile, she's got a bag full of drugs hidden away at home. This is one of those storylines where you can just feel the disaster looming. 5. Jon plays a cruel game with Robert. Jon clearly isn't done with winding Robert up, and next week he's taking things to another level. The so-called truce between them is looking more and more like a trap. And this time he's even willing to use little Harry to make his point. Victoria, bless her, thinks she's doing a nice thing, convincing Robert to spend some time with his nephew, but you can almost hear the alarm bells ringing the second Jon gets wind of it. This is not going to be some wholesome family afternoon. When Jon spots Robert having a quiet chat with Aaron in the cafe, you can almost see the cogs turning. He knows Robert's still struggling with certain triggers after his time inside, so what does he do? Sets Harry up on a drum kit at Keeper's, bashing away until Robert's patience snaps. It's calculated, and it's cruel, because it's got nothing to do with Harry and everything to do with pushing Robert to a breaking point. And of course, Jon times his entrance perfectly, walking in just as Robert raises his voice, sweeping in to be the kind uncle while Harry clings to him for comfort. It's the sort of manipulative move that makes your blood boil, because you know exactly what Jon's going to do next, twist the story to suit himself. And sure enough, he's straight off to Aaron, dripping poison into his ear and making Robert look like the bad guy all over again. The worrying bit is, if Aaron buys into this version of events, Robert's hard work to rebuild trust could crumble overnight. Their history is complicated enough without Jon stirring things, and you just know he's not finished yet. If this is what he's pulling now, there's no telling what his next play will be, and that's exactly why this could really kick off drama in the weeks to come. 6. Charity's shock pregnancy news, and finally, something that's going to rock more than one relationship. Charity's been through the emotional ringer lately, trying to be a surrogate for Sarah after that heartbreaking scare when she thought the embryo hadn't taken. Mac had been against the whole thing, and Charity ended up turning to Vanessa for support, which led to that kiss. Now Mac's changed his tune, Sarah's hopeful again, and Cain's even offered to help with the costs. But when they all head to the clinic, they get a massive shock. Charity's already pregnant. Sarah and Jacob are over the moon, but you can see Charity's got something weighing on her. Given that kiss with Vanessa and the state of her marriage, this pregnancy could open up a whole new can of worms. And with Charity, nothing ever stays simple for long. So there you have it, 6 huge Emmerdale spoilers for next week that are going to keep us all glued to the screen. We've got fallouts, heartbreak, a dangerous job, and a pregnancy bombshell that's bound to cause trouble. I've got to say, the Ruby and Manpreet arrest is one I'm most looking forward to, purely because I can't picture either of them coping well in a police cell. But Vinny's attack, that's going to be hard to watch, especially given everything he's already survived. Which storyline are you most excited or nervous to see play out? Drop your thoughts in the comments because I love hearing what other fans think might happen next. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like, subscribe for more Emmerdale spoilers every week, and hit the bell so you never miss the drama. See you next time when the village throws us another week of chaos.